Hello, welcome to Down the Slope for what feels like the 100th episode in a row. We've got a full house. We're really on a roll here. Harry, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, matey. The Hibs won. You ken the rules. Hibs win. Harry's happy.
Good stuff. Greg?
Hello.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. The scenes in my house on Saturday night when the second went in were incredible. But
Just you and Elaine?
Yeah, more of a relief than anything else. But yeah, me and Elaine.
What about yourself, Liam? How you doing, mate?
I do enjoy myself on Saturday too. First time Hibs have won on a Saturday in a wee while. It does it if you forget how much it controls your weekend and how you feel for the rest of the weekend. I tell you what, my Saturday night takeaway tasted extra sweet after that second goal.
It was a good trip up. I'm glad I made the decision at about, I don't know, I think I woke up at about 11 o'clock on Saturday morning and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'll head up. And thank fuck I did. And do you know what, right? I know we'll get on to talk about the game, but Greg, we've spoke recently about not playing well and getting beat.
Yeah. Yep.
Even like at half time and stuff, and as that game went on, maybe some people did start to question, was it going to be our day? But we played well. Even if we hadn't won that game, it would have been one of them where you were coming away going, how the fuck did we not win that?
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm going to say. I still wouldn't have been happy because we didn't win.
Of course, but
I mean, look, let's get it straight that we can play as good as we want, but if we concede shit goals like that, as we do, then, really, the second half performance had to be one of control and aggressive and forward thinking, and it was. I'm sure we'll get everyone else's opinions on that, but
yeah.
I thought the second half, it was, without jumping the gun too much, was exactly what I want to see, the full 90 minutes.
Well, Harry, Greg says we're jumping the guns, we'll rewind back 45 minutes. I thought Hibs started pretty well. And lead up to the disallowed goal as well.
Straight away, I thought Chris Cadden kind of set the precedent for the match. As soon as the first whistle blew, he was chasing them down the wing. There was I think it was like 2 minutes in where he nicked the ball, and then we got a chance away after about 2 minutes, and it was just a really positive start. We showed more energy and enthusiasm for the game than we showed in the entirety of the 90 minutes against Ross County, I felt. Obviously, it was an entirely new system than what we've been playing in the last few weeks. I thought Kevin Nisbet getting on the ball early was really positive. I think Kevin Nisbet's had a very good week of football. I think that the more touches he has, the better he plays. I don't think he's one of those strikers like Chris Boyd, for example, who doesn't really need the ball often to make an impact in the game. I think the more short touches he has, the better he is. But yeah, no, the first half, I thought we were brilliant. I really enjoyed watching it. I could not believe we were behind at half-time, but I thought we were really good.
Liam, I don't remember St Johnstone having any real chances. I think Michael Allan maybe had a shot from outside the box that didn't trouble Macy until the goal. What were your thoughts on the first half?
I thought it was a game we controlled. Obviously, apart from that one moment, a slack clearance and then a very, very unlucky goal we conceded really from a corner. The O'Halloran shot was just the epitome of a guy running sideways trying to strike a ball. Like, have you ever watched any guy ever run sideways and try to hit the ball goalward? It never, ever, ever ends up the back of the net. No one can ever generate any power, particularly not players as limited as Michael O'Halloran. But I just thought St Johnstone are what they are. They're a poor footballing team. They play poor football. They're organised, but the wee bit of star quality they had last season, Ali McCann in midfield, is evidently missing. I mean, a midfield of Ali Crawford, Murray Davidson, and who was the other centre mid for them?
Craig Bryson.
I mean, Jesus Christ, limited FC. Yeah. I mean, they're not a good team. And I think most of us on this podcast probably predict to be top 6 this season. I think probably all of us made that prediction thinking that they'd maybe still have Kerr, McCann, and would add some. And actually, I would say they've dropped off quality big style. They're a poor team.
Yeah, I know you guys sort of berated me on, was it Thursday night when we done the sort of preview podcast after the Ross County game, but I was confident going into the game for the reasons that you mentioned earlier. Not so much the way Hibs have been playing. I just don't think St Johnstone are a good team. I felt like we were going to keep a clean sheet. Obviously, that didn't come to peace, but I didn't see how they were going to break us down. And ultimately, it's not like they cut us open. Like you say, we definitely could have done better for the goal, but I thought from start to finish we completely dominated the ball, dominated the game. Kevin Nisbet scored a perfectly good goal as far as I could see from the other end of the park, which you guys confirmed from the sort of TV angles. I know, as per usual, between St Johnstone TV / BBC Alba, whoever it was that had the cameras there, you couldn't really tell. But I mean, the fact he wasn't even in shot on one of the angles, and the fact, like you said, Greg, you might even tweeted it out saying like he's had to run round Jamie McCart to get there. Like it's an incredible decision. Just but if you look at that incident in isolation, Greg, do you think that's a couple of games this season now where maybe it's just as well we never signed Jamie McCart? I think he was great at Easter Road, obviously got sent off, and I wouldn't say Kevin Nisbet's lightning.
No, I mean, I think I actually thought Easter Road McCart was good. He was quite tidy, but let's be honest, he's an absolute hammer thrower, isn't he?
I want to jump in there and say Jamie McCart horse. Am I
right? Yes, I would agree with Jamie McCart horse. He's not good enough, but that's okay. We move. Aye. But I was actually very surprised at the decision.
What did you make?
Because it really was that bad. Like, he's actually fully had to run round Jamie McCart to get the ball. Obviously, in the lodge, that is an offside, so had to be flagged.
Greg, what did you make of? I think we'd spoke on Thursday, and obviously Josh Campbell won the header for Nisbet to get on. What did you make of that sort of almost front three with Campbell playing just off of Gullen and Nisbet? Were you impressed with him in the first half?
Well, let's get it right. I seen an article saying that Josh Campbell's the ideal replacement for Kyle McGuinness. Let's get one thing straight. He's not. You know, I think he's okay, but he's not a replacement at all.
Do you think a good stopgap though? Not to the same ability, but in terms of maybe style of play?
Not for me, to be honest. Not for me. Look, he's okay, but I feel like he goes wandering in games, and he's just not up to it at that level, in my opinion. I know other people have a different opinion, but for me, he's really not up to it.
Yep.
I actually thought Jamie Gullen was okay. We bit surprised to see him come off, but I thought in the first half he was good. He had a couple of shots away, and he looked very positive. But I don't think Josh Campbell's the answer. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with Nisbet, the application. He looked interested. Looked like he wanted to get on the ball and get shots away, which has always really been wanting from him for a few weeks now. So impressed with him.
Liam, do you think we've seen in the last week Kevin Nisbet's had a partner in all three games? And I think what Harry said earlier, he's been pretty decent in the three games and was, I have to say, fantastic at the weekend. Do you think we've seen that he does need someone up there, and doesn't really matter who is beside him? He just needs almost another body so he can drift?
To a degree, yes. And I think just to comment on what Greg was saying there, I think both Campbell and Gullen, I think in some respects, play their best football when they've not got the ball, which is almost the exact opposite of what you wanted two players in an attacking position. But I think the best of Campbell and Gullen appears to be their ability to press, to harry, to chase things down. Gullen's movement and at times in the St Johnstone game was very good. So I think you see what they do for the team without the ball, but the vast majority of games in this league we would expect to be the team with more of the ball, and therefore I think that's where they don't become obsolete, but they become less useful to the team. And I think Campbell and Gullen both do a lot of the things that Kevin does, but isn't necessarily his strong suit. So they press,
running the channels,
they run the channels, exactly, all of that stuff. So it takes a wee bit of the weight off Nisbet and it allows him to focus on doing what he's better at doing. And I think Harry was spot on when he said, I think it has been a very good week for Kevin Nisbet. I think his hold-up play in general, after me slating it a few weeks ago, has been good the last three games. He's come short, he's linked up the play well. Some of his touches just in and around the final third have been of a really, really high standard. So he's definitely picked up that part of his game the last few weeks.
I think, obviously, the fact we weren't at the games last season, but I think being at the game on Saturday, I would say that's probably the best. In person, I think it's the best game I've seen Kevin Nisbet play. I thought he was very, very good at the weekend. I think, look, he got wrongfully disallowed a hat-trick. I think we'll get on to the second disallowed goal, but to be honest, he probably could have had a hat-trick. And for me, in the first half, if we hadn't been on the run we were on, you'd be like, how you would have been surprised to be 1-0 down at the halftime. But the goal comes, and was the writing on the wall, Greg, when Hanlon sort of Hanlon at the game, he does the right thing. He shouts it, he wants it, ultimately mishits the clearance, but we've got to do a lot better after that, don't we?
Wow, I mean, I was probably a bit harsh on Hanlon. I said that it all stems from him. I mean, ultimately it does, but he's not at fault. I actually don't know where to begin. Like, we defended the first cross, okay.
Yeah, Nisbet puts it back out.
I wouldn't say we defended it the best we could, but wow, the ball comes back in, and do you know what? This goalie is really starting to grind my gears now. Like, he's 6'7". He's far taller than anyone else in the box, but he doesn't come off his line. And
is it a ball he could come from?
Well, his pathetic attempt at trying to save it as well. I mean, come on. Are you telling me you can't get a stronger hand on that?
I don't know. I didn't even know if he got a hand on it.
Well, yeah, he didn't really get enough on it, and then obviously it hits off Porteous and goes in. But it's just another cross, isn't it? I don't really know.
It's a bit of panic. Do you think at the back post, Liam? Do you think? Look, Liam was going to say McCart. Sorry, Liam Gordon gets up well, but Cadden and Campbell just sort of let him get up uncontested. Really, don't they? I don't know who had him at the corner. They did try to sort of track it on Sports Scene, but it didn't look like it. Maybe Porteous, I think, but then he pulled off onto Campbell and Cadden. Do you think they can make his life a little bit more difficult?
Yes, I think that they both can do better. I'd be interested to get Harry's perspective on this, because I think he's probably the one that's least critical of Macy. But the worrying theme for me with Matt Macy is the number of goals that we concede that are down the middle of the goal. For me, a goalkeeper should not be being beaten in the centre of the goal. And I think if you analyse a lot of where Hibs goals are conceded, we're not conceding from shots into the top corner or the bottom corner. We're conceding into goals that are happening in the middle of the goal. And I think a lot of that's due to the fact that they're crosses, and therefore it's a reaction thing. But there is a bit of a worrying trend there for me.
I think from my perspective, I think last week when you were saying he was having a quietly shocking season, I do think that was relatively harsh. I don't think that he's been shocking on a consistent basis. However, the more I've looked at him, like, it's difficult because where the cross goes out to, it does look like a bit far for him to go and collect, but crosses need to be an issue somewhere, and he's the only thing that's different from last season, so he perhaps does need to start taking the brunt of it, because every goal we concede, and like the problem for me for blaming that on him is the fact that Marciano wasn't particularly great with crossing, so it doesn't make sense that the next keeper,
the one element of his game that Marciano didn't.
Yeah. Like the problem for both of them, is distribution, communication, and crosses. But it's a fair point. Every goal that we do concede seems to be going through Macy, and they're not exactly the most rocketed of efforts.
And there's an element of inconsistency there as well, because you look at the Rangers. I think if Macy comes and collects one early, he collects the majority in a game. And I don't know, do you think with the defence last season, potentially, they knew Marciano wasn't coming? They have to deal with that. If they don't deal with it, Marciano will try and make the save, but he's not coming for the cross. There was a few occasions at the weekend, and then I guess if you look back at the goal against Rangers as well, I don't know if there's a lack of trust directly between Macy and Porteous, but Porteous was giving Macy it tight a good few times at the weekend, mainly for kicking, to be fair, mainly distribution, like when he sort of squaffed it a couple of times. But there does, and then you look at the goal that we conceded against Rangers as well, like Harry, you'd think one of them's got to take command of that situation. Probably the goalkeeper, because it's in front of him.
Like Tam McManus said it on the commentary, but like Nisbet is in place to boot the ball away if Porteous doesn't touch it. But again, I don't know if it's just communication in our own box is lacking, but someone needs to take ownership and actually just tell people what to do, because we clearly don't know what we're doing when the ball comes in the box. We need at least one of them to have a clue.
See, that communication point I think is really important, because we talked about communication about the Rangers goal as well, and it was evident that communication was lacking. And I spend a lot of time analysing how players react to how we concede goals. And if you look at Macy's face, he just looks forlorn. Like he doesn't look as though he's out ranting and raving. And I know, like, Jordan Pickford's one in the EPL who gets quite a hard time because he spends so much time shouting at defenders but he is a communicator and he blames everyone. It's everyone else's fault. Best goalkeeper of my lifetime that I've ever seen, just in my opinion, is Peter Schmeichel, because Peter Schmeichel was the ultimate communicator. You could hear Peter Schmeichel from a million miles away because he absolutely told the defence what was happening, when it was happening, and it was never ever his fault. Whatever happened, it was always someone else's fault. And I think with Matt Macy, he doesn't. I know it's really difficult because we're not on the pitch, but we are at games, and he doesn't look like, to me, an effective communicator. And I also, there's other parts of his game that aren't great, and we should maybe move on to talk about all the negative stuff. But the shot stopping for me is becoming a little bit of a worry, because I don't see him make any saves that I look at and go, that's an impressive save. I will never see him save things that I think he should have saved that.
There's not much credit in the bank in terms of like wonder saves, like whereas Marciano, you felt when you needed him to pluck something out the top corner, he would.
See for me as well, I think that communication is a big thing. I mean, when I play centre half, I want the goalie to talk to me all the time, regardless of what's been said. Just talk to me, tell me where things are. And I feel like we've not in the back, in the defence, and the goalie. I feel like there's not a lot of talking.
I don't know,
and I think that this is where this is my initial comment on taking ownership and responsibility comes from, because it doesn't seem that anyone actually talks to each other. Otherwise, surely, as professional football players, if you talk to each other, you're more organised at set pieces and crosses coming into the box, whatever. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But
I don't know if I agree with the Macy not communicating, and the reason I say that is I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys, but obviously the pre-season and European games, I think it was especially the Arsenal game and the Santa Coloma game, there was ultimately less people in the ground, and you could hear Macy barking at the defenders all the time. So I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, sorry, I've just burst my lip. I think that's a bit or something. I think with like it feels like there's definitely defenders have a lot of part to play with, but it's another goal where I'm like, it's players outside the back four that are losing men, etc. at set plays. But anyway, we went 1-0 down, and Greg Vimy hit the post. Josh Campbell hit the post, and look, it was a set play. There's not much to talk about, but Craig Bryson then got sent off, rightfully so.
Yeah, I would say so. I think I wouldn't say either with a red card on their own, but I think definitely 2 yellows. I'm really not sure what he's thinking about with the second tackle. He is wild. He's out of control, and to be honest, he can't really have any complaints. But I really don't know what he's doing. It's just a silly tackle.
Do you know what's baffling me?
I mean, to be honest, your name's Ryan Poacher, you're going off for the first one.
That's exactly what I want to say, right? So, for a start, right, there's 2 elements of BBC Scotland's coverage, and I'll start with the one that came first. So, Sports Sound after the game, Richard Foster. He says, the
absolute
first one,
mouth. Would not ever listen to any of his opinions.
So he says, the first one's a pretty bad tackle, but he doesn't touch him, so it's probably just a yellow. Now,
right, so how can I pretty bad tackle?
What's changed in the last 5 weeks since Ryan Porteous got sent off for intent? And because
it's not against strangers.
And then on Sports Scene on Saturday night, Marvin Bartley said the second one is not even a foul.
I mean,
because he won the ball.
I mean, this is where it comes into. I mean, the laws of the game today, it's a yellow card. I'm really not sure what Richard Foster's seen. Maybe needs to go and get himself a thicker pair of specs.
It was a weird one because he says basically it's a really bad tackle, and if he connect, like Porteous does well, he gets out of the way of it and stuff. And it's like, flip that narrative. Just flip.
I'll tell you what, right? Nobody's allowed to tackle unless folk are qualified to jump out the way. Then, right? Is that what you want, Ricky? Is that what you want, pal? Absolute mouth. Right? There's a reason that he's achieved nothing in his career.
Just, you know what I mean?
Absolute loser.
If you flip the narrative and that's Ryan Porteous making that tackle on Craig Bryson, whether he gets sent off or not, but the media that drive it after it would be entirely different. But Liam, what was your thoughts on the 2 yellows?
Marvin Bartley, cult Hibs hero. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think he's a very good pundit. And the reason I don't think he's a very good pundit is I think a lot owes to his inconsistency. I hear him talk about things from one week to another, and his position seems to dance about depending on which team's playing. And to be honest, I think with
McFadden beside him that just agrees with whatever the other pundit's saying.
Bartley was screaming about the Porteous one, saying it was a red card. And
So
I'm sorry, but Bryson makes the same tackle. The second tackle is the same tackle. I thought the one with Bryson, maybe the first yellow was maybe a wee bit harsh, but he's on a booking and he makes the second challenge, so he goes. You know, that's football for you.
Is the first one harsh though?
See, if either of them are harsh, I would say the second one was slightly harsher.
Really?
Yellow, but I can understand why he's been said out. But I do think that it's just that wee bit harsher.
Maybe I'm being inconsistent because I never thought Ryan Porteous was a red card. But what's changed in the last 5 weeks that meant Ryan Porteous got a straight red card? The boy during the week on Ryan Porteous didn't get one. Craig Bryson on Ryan Porteous didn't get one. Like, I don't understand the difference.
Right. Well, Joe Aribo, I don't know, his tackle against Hearts, not to bring them into it, but that was an absolute shocker.
The Lundstrom won in the same game against us.
And they got yellows. So where is the consistency? Or does it not apply to the establishment clubs?
But I think you see tackles like Porteous' one, like the ones we are just reeling off in every game. And for whatever reason, the media, the ex-Rangers manager, whoever, they've driven a narrative that Ryan Porteous is a thug. Because even you look at the tackle, mate, was it Dundee United at home? Boyle got fucking cleaned out. Again, similar.
That's not a red card.
It's not a red card, but
there needs to be consistency. There needs to be consistency. I mean, it's genuinely incredible that one team can do what they want.
But you're comparing it to one team. It's 11 teams in the league, and then Ryan Porteous is fucking tarnished with this brush. I didn't get it.
I think it's mad. I don't want to see tackling taken out of the game, but I think there needs to be a level of consistency. Either send everyone off, or you send nobody off. So it's got to be one or the other. I don't think you can pick and choose who you send off. But there we go, Nick Walsh. Don't let that get in the way of you being a good ref.
Harry, what were your thoughts on it?
Just to chime in, it was 2 stupid tackles that were both bookings. That's my opinion on it. So, moving on, Ewan, you were at the game. What was the atmosphere like at halftime? Because being honest, as soon as we went in 1-0 down, I was kind of thinking it's one of those days, even though they're down to 10, they're going to sit even deeper. It's going to be horrible. What was the atmosphere like in the stadium at halftime, and what did you think?
It was quite subdued, as St Johnstone away tends to be, unless you're pumping them. But it was definitely like I think went from when the goal went in through to half time. I think the red card helped. I do think it helped in terms of the fan base, but do you know, I'll be honest, I thought we'd been playing well. I think I said it to you in the group chat, like, we're playing well. I wouldn't make any changes for like 5-10 minutes. And Jack Ross made the sub that I predicted, so well done, Jack Ross. But I have to be honest, as that half went on, we were playing well, but I was worried. And I think it was maybe I was thinking about what you boys had said during the week about the form we were on, and like Harry, you said, I think maybe we were trending towards relegation as opposed to trending up the table. And it got me thinking back to pre-relegation and stuff, and you're like, even under Butcher at times, you're going, we're actually doing all right here. And then sucker punch, and it's like, how many missed chances? That's what at half time. But look, I think within a couple of minutes of the second half, I was confident we were going to win. I really was. I thought we came out at the second half and really played some good stuff straight off the bat. I don't know about you though, but I wasn't too worried at halftime. What were you guys thinking?
I was fucking panicking. I was pacing, like I was absolutely pacing at halftime. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, because just what you were saying, I was like, being down to 10 men makes no difference to St Johnstone. They just have one less man behind the ball.
If there was one team that you don't want to play with 10 men, it's probably them.
And in my head, I was like, well, that's not really going to help us. Like, but you're right in saying, I think the way we went about the beginning of the second half, I started to get more confident as weirdly, we'd get more confident as the second half went on. The longer we went without a goal, that we would score because we were creating quality chances.
Yeah, look, Harry, we came at the start of the second half. No changes at half time. I think straight away Paul Hanlon was quite a driving force from that sort of left centre half, which
great player.
Yeah, well, I know I addressed this to Harry, but Greg, just mentioning that, you like when Hanlon does that. Hanlon does that to great effect, but we rarely see him do it.
Do you know what? This is the problem. He does do it to good effect, right? And it comes from the days when he was a left back and he gets forward. And I like that when he drives forward.
Why do you think we don't do that?
Understand. I don't know.
In the opening 45. I think under Lennon, it was something he done pretty regularly. And
yeah,
I think there's a lot of goals. Like, remember Scott Allan's goal against Hearts in the natural order game, that comes from him making the runs. Like, he does it to good effect. Do you think
he can actually put a decent ball in the box as well? I don't know. I just think he needs to grow up and get forward. To be honest, I think that under Lennon, we done it a lot, and it was very effective because he would drive us forward, and you'd have the overlap on the left, and you could pick players out. It was good because it was fluid. But see when he tries to pick out 40, 50 yard crossfield balls, that's not what you're after. Just drive forward with it. Like Poch just done it to good effect at the weekend as well. He was driving forward.
Yeah, I think they both done it well in the second half.
He was playing 1-2s, you know. That's what the fans want to see. Like, no joking. Poacher's getting forward was better than Josh Campbell in the game. Fact. So, and he hit the bar at the end. So,
anyway,
but I just think that when the defence advance further forward, it makes us more of a threat. It gives us more options. The overload's there. So it's all very well doing it against 10, but I do think we should still be doing it against 11. To be fair, I think we do have the quality for it.
Especially when you've got players like Jake Doyle-Hayes and Joe Newell in centre midfield that are more than capable of sort of covering.
Who get a nosebleed if they go too far forward, yeah.
Harry, the second half we set our stall out pretty early, I felt, and we sort of camped ourselves in St Johnstone half. Were you happy enough with the start to the second half up to sort of resulting in Cadden hitting the crossbar?
Being honest, I kind of sounds like a random tangent, but see, when you're playing like FIFA or Football Manager, and then you put the team's mentality up to like attacking or whatever, like you never really see that in real life. But it was genuinely like Jack Ross was like to everybody: get forward the whole half, attack them. If we concede goals, we'll score more than they do. And that's the type of mentality we've been missing since Jack Ross came in. Like the amount, like by the end of the game, what you got, Paul Hanlon was pretty much a centre forward or a winger, and then Campbell was having goals at the back. Like, it was mental. By the end of the game, we literally just had everybody forward. I've never seen us chase a result like it under Jack Ross. It was refreshing. Like, the reason I think I got so wound up at the Ross County game is there was no intensity when we went behind. But from the kick-off on Saturday, there was intensity. In the second half, when we were chasing the game, we actually chased the game. We didn't let it slide away from us. And it's just what we've needed. And the reason that Jack Ross gets so much like hassles because we concede, we look flat, we lose. And it's a consistent thing when we lose. But this time we were losing and we thought, fuck it, we're no losing. We're going to win this game. And if you have that mentality going forward, you're actually going to win games. It was so good.
Liam, do you think as well, I know you're not alone there, so you've probably got something to add, but I felt like we done it with real quality as well. I think it would have been easy to just launch the ball forward, we built attacks well.
Your thing is Hanlon taking the ball out of defence and making a run forward. My thing is Joe Newell just running beyond the ball.
Aye.
When Joe Newell runs beyond the ball, things happen. And he did it against Dundee United. He scored a goal from it. He actually, 3 or 4 times in the first 15 minutes, I was like, he's made a purposeful effort to run 15, 20 yards beyond the ball. He needs to do that more. Jake Doyle-Hayes is a perfectly capable screener and sitter. We do not need, when we're playing like St Johnstone, 2 centre defenders and 3 centre backs sitting behind the ball. The guys need to run and get ahead of the ball. And when Joe Newell does it, he's got the quality in the final third to make things happen. It has to happen more consistently, though, if we're going to get results. We've also got, to add back to that, we've got Porteous back in the team who, for me, when he's on the football and when he's in possession, is one of the best centre halves in the league at distributing the ball. There are very, very few centre halves who do it as well as he does.
Minus
he's comfortable in possession.
Again.
He can run with it. He can take people on. You know, I know sometimes things don't come off for him, or he maybe overplays a wee bit, but he just makes such a difference to how we take the ball out of defence. Like, he's a guy that you do not want to leave on possession as well. So the minute that he gets it, they rush to go and close him down. And you got another two centre halves on either side who are also comfortable on the ball and beginning handling. It just opens up options for us.
Yep. Greg, we hit the bar with Chris Cadden. Very unlucky. Am I right to say Cadden's still waiting for his first goal? Still not, yeah.
I'm waiting some time, judging by some exhibition.
Are we 100% sure that wasn't a cross? No,
Could have been anything.
and then look, let both the boys have said we did keep pushing and keep pushing. The next sort of notable thing would have been substitution. Paul McGinn for Jamie Murphy, which seen a change of shape. We sort of went to a back four, Cadden at right back. It's a positive sub, that, isn't it?
You got me torn up right now. I don't like Jamie Murphy in that team. At least I didn't when he came on. It was a bit different at 10 to 5, but
it was interesting. I felt when he came on as well, he played very centrally. It looked as opposed to out wide.
No, I think he did play it wide, and then he obviously had that absolute sitter that he missed. He was getting an absolute pile of abuse for that. No, the one before that. And I tell you what, right, Tam McManus saying, "Oh, the goalie's done well there." Do me a favour.
Is that the volley? Yeah, I think it's a good.
It's straight at him.
It's straight at him, but it's a good save.
Let's not be giving credit for the boy standing there. Right, let's just calm down. And do you know what? Maybe he could have played the pads in Nisbet quicker. I don't know if that's maybe pernickety, but
wait, are you talking for the goal?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Mate, he took a touch. Just play it first time and get him in.
Perfectly.
Aye, well, not good enough. And to be honest, no, but at the time I thought, could he maybe got that away quicker? But then obviously the finish, and that's some finish, by the way. He's just taking that in his stride, and he's
a bit of the game here.
Well, I've not. You've talked about Jamie Murphy
coming on. Fucking disallowed goal.
Who cares? I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. It just annoys me. I really don't know what the ref's seen.
Pretty much the most. Just pushed him, Liam, Harry. You're maybe a little bit more.
I think that is what you call it.
Ludicrous.
I think that's another reason why I don't want Jamie McCart. I think he's just a big pathetic loser that hits the ground every time anybody touches him. I thought that he got absolutely bullied by all our players throughout the game. Kevin Nisbet absolutely toasted him for pace. Like at the start of the season, I wanted Jamie McCart, but after watching him yesterday, I didn't want that donkey at our club. The referee's been conned by a pathetic attempt to fall to the ground, and if you think that's a foul, then every shoulder barge in football should be a foul, in my opinion.
Aye, Liam.
It's honestly, it's just a dive. There's nothing else to say about it. There's minimal contact, and he dives, and the referee buys it.
It's a centre half special, isn't it? It's a centre half.
No, it's not. It's not a centre half special at all. It's a man who isn't going to get the ball that is decided. He's going to just throw himself at the deck. Unless you're Paul Hanlon, it's possibly something he would do because he gets out muscled all the time. Joking, Paul. Joking.
No, Greg. Look, you started talking about it.
Yeah.
Jamie. The goal.
Murphy.
Yeah, the goal before Ewan explodes with cough. Yeah, look, I liked how patient we were in the build-up, to be fair. We didn't try and force it like usual. We tried to be patient. We played it round. It's a great finish, and he's just taking it in his stride. He's Bennett right round Xander Clark. And I felt at that point we were going to go on and win the game because I felt like we were on top there. They really been at that half. They were happy to camp in with everyone behind the ball. But yeah, I felt like we had a wee bit of urgency, but at the same time we balanced it off with patience, which I felt complemented each other perfectly.
But yeah, like that was it. We camped in their half in the second half, but we played with real quality. We played with urgency on the ball, but we waited for the right moments. I didn't really feel like we put it in the box when it wasn't on. I didn't really feel like we were looking for passes that weren't on. Liam, that first goal though, I mean, Kevin Nisbet's finish there, considering he's already had 2 goals wrongfully ruled out. He's been denied a fantastic assist from Xander Clark's save from Jamie Murphy. Shows real good composure and probably not what you'd expect maybe from a player that hasn't scored in, I think it must be a good couple of months.
Yeah, so the ball lead in him's a really good ball as well, and I think it just allows him to open up his body and put it across the goalkeeper. It's an absolutely textback finish. It's a good finish, textbook finish. I think the only touch that he takes that's better than that finish today, and we kind of glossed over it, is his touch back to Murphy for the Murphy volley straight to Xander Clark. That is honestly one of the best touches you'll see a centre forward in this league make. The awareness to know that the run's coming and the ability to put it on a plate for Murphy. He could not have touched that any better back into Murphy's path, and it deserved the goal. Anyway, you asked me to talk about the goal, and it's a very good finish.
It's interesting mentioning that. I think Jake Doyle-Hayes laid one off to Nisbet very much similar against Ross County as well. So
He did.
Maybe something they're working on. Harry, just after the goal, it felt like about 10 seconds after, Jamie Murphy did miss a very, very good chance. And at that point, I slumped into my chair and I was like, do you know what? Liam's right. Liam's right. His Hibs career is summed up in missed chances. He's just going to keep missing. Because at the time with the volley, I was like, that's a decent save. But then I was like, the volley, dragging that shot wide. I was like, Liam's right. Liam's right. But that was a great chance. And maybe on another day, that could have been the chance.
Aye, the volley where he hit it straight at Clark.
No, but that was earlier. But then he had the cutbacks right after we scored that he screwed wide to the far post as well.
Aye, yeah. No, it was one of those things because as soon as you score, obviously you message everybody like, yes, finally. And then you look back and you're like, oh my God, they scored. No, we've not. It's went wide. Jamie Murphy, obviously, we're kind of split on the podcast in the sense that me and you quite like Jamie Murphy, whereas Greg and Liam before 4:45 on Saturday couldn't have chased him further out the club if they were given the chance. But yeah, no, I think his quality did shine through. I think his overall impact on the game, he does do well when we're on the front foot. I think we've seen him struggle in games where we get pinned back and there's not a lot of space, but when he's got space to run into, I think he's a very impactful player. If he could improve his finishing, he'd have netted about 15 goals already this season. That's a frustrating thing with him. Yeah. He gets himself in such good positions, but it's just his final product keeps letting him down. But his final product gave me a very happy Saturday. So
yeah, well, Harry, talk us through that goal from your perspective.
Well,
Allan flips on his arse.
From that perspective, I'm absolutely fuming at Scott Allan because he's done a roulette against Ross County, and I didn't want him anywhere near the Hibs team ever again. But he got subbed on and he absolutely shut my mouth. He's actually on the ground at the start of the play. He gets knocked over by the defender, but he picks himself up as soon as he sees Doig's got control of the ball, and he absolutely slices and dices his man. Like, that is gorgeous. Like, that is an ankle breaker like you've never seen before. That guy went to Subway, crossed the shops, came back, and he still wasn't there. Allan absolutely decimated that gimp. And then the ball across, absolutely lovely. Xander Clark, caveman, flapping in the goals, doesn't know what's hit him. And then my TV show comedy protagonist, Jamie Murphy, with a finish. It was great. It's whenever we get to see those scenes, that's why it's great for fans to be back at the games. You can see the Hibs fans all wanting to jump on the pitch and go absolutely mental. That's what I love to see. I think that's what football's all about, those moments in the last minute where players are kind of getting scrutinised, get to have their comeuppance. It was well taken because the thing is, we've seen Jamie Murphy miss those chances, so that you have to have a level of composure to actually put it in the back of the net. It was a very good goal.
Can I make a point about that goal as well? There are a lot of things in life that make me very horny, but one thing in life that makes me extremely horny is a proper fluid counter-attack where you get possession back and you absolutely spring it on them. And Jamie Murphy actually breaks up. So St Johnstone actually dared to have two players in our half at one point in the second half. Jamie Murphy breaks up their play, plays it into Doig, and before you know it, with some lovely touches from Scott Allan in between, before you know it, 10 seconds later, we're up on the edge of their box. And it's just, in games like that where St Johnstone are going to be so hard to break down, like I say, it's probably one of the only times in the second half they really committed any bodies into our half. We had to absolutely seize the opportunity, and we did. We got it to Doig, we moved it quickly through the lines, as I like to say, and ultimately made it happen from the edge of our own box, which is just seizing the opportunity. And I love to see it. I love to see it.
Greg, look, we spoke a lot about Jamie Murphy. We've also spoke a lot about Scott Allan, and they're two players that you can probably question maybe their work rate, their fitness, their speed, whatever. Do you think that sort of game in the second half when defences are tight, both players are good quality, they can pit passes, they've got good touch, good control, good dribbling. They're the games that suit both their players, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've seen it against St Mirren earlier in the season at home. Scott Allan came off the bench and he kind of changed the game.
Yep.
I felt like it was similar at the weekend. I mean, like Cam McPherson had to go back to the ticket office and buy himself a ticket to get back in the game after he was sent packing. And after the third or fourth replay, I was actually questioning the defence how a pass like that could go all the way to the back post. But yeah, I think that like Scotland and Joey Murphy will always pick up wee pockets. They don't necessarily like to always stick in the one area. Other than Joey Murphy likes to stick on the treatment table for 3 months at a time. But yeah, I think that Scott Allan has got a lot to offer. I mean, I think I've maybe said it before in the group chat. I think that he's not going to play a lot of minutes, but see, for me, if he keeps doing stuff like that, he should be playing every week for me. The vision and the creativity he's got is very impressive. I don't know if he would start every week, but I think that he should certainly play a role. I think he's definitely got a role to play. I feel like when he does start games, he doesn't always offer a lot. But when he comes off the bench and comes into games, I think that's probably when he's at his most dangerous.
I feel like Scott Allan this season, and I want to get all your guys' thoughts, Greg. Obviously, I feel like this season for Scott Allan's almost typified that comes off the bench, does really, really well. Everyone's screaming for him at start. He starts and does nothing. Maybe other than Dundee United away, like I feel like see that we run at home. I'll call a spade a spade. He was shocking against Dundee United at home.
He was grim, to be honest, and that's probably been a bit kind to him.
You know what I mean? Like, and it just it does feel like you would probably say maybe other than Dundee United away, his best games have come off the bench this season, and that might just be ultimately the way we want to play. That's probably Scott Allan's role these days. Is like, and don't get me wrong, it's maybe not the nicest feeling in the world. We all love Scott Allan, but got to be realistic, and you've also got to be realistic. Right? If you can bring Scott Allan off the bench when you need a goal, there's worse players to bring on the pack. Like, where do you land on the sort of Scott Allan debate?
For me, it's as simple as what would you rather have 20 to 25 minutes of really, really high quality Scott Allan or 90 minutes of subpar Scott Allan? And for me, I take the high quality impact player every single time. It's a squad game. I recognise it's not as black and white as I'm always been on the bench or always starting. I think there'll be some games where he will start and some games where he'll play on the bench. To be honest, I think Jamie Murphy's role at the club between now and the end of the season is probably pretty similar. I don't think Jamie Murphy is a guy who'll play 90 minutes every week because Chris Muller's coming in and I expect him to be pushing to start. So I think Murphy will have to bide his time and wait for his opportunities. And actually, to be honest, at the stage that Jamie Murphy and Scott Allan, the careers they're in, maybe that role's the best suited to them in their condition, without being unkind. And I don't mean condition in terms of health, I just mean their overall conditioning. Maybe that's the best role for them. It's a cliche, but it's a squad game, and I think we as fans get really fixated on who's in the starting 11. But the reality is, over the course of the season, with injuries and suspensions, everybody really does get an opportunity. And we've seen how threadbare the squad is just now. Josh Campbell wasn't even on the bench for a number of games, and now he's started the last 3 in a row. So people will get their opportunities, and they'll have to take them when they come. But I mean, both of them, in terms of their contribution on Saturday, absolutely shut up all the doubters, including me, because I thought both of them, that their contribution was of a really high quality. The only slight criticism with Murphy is I think he probably should have scored more than one.
Yeah. Harry, obviously the last 3 games, and we have lined up 3-5-2, probably will do on Wednesday night as well. I guess if we are playing 3-5-2 going forward, then you probably are looking at Scott Allan and Jamie Murphy coming off the bench in that sort of role that Liam's talking about.
I think the main thing is if you look at the way Scott Allan plays, like obviously with Campbell, like we like him, but he brings energy. And as Liam said, it's not what he does on the ball, it's what he does off the ball. Imagine Scott Allan trying to run back and forth off a pitch for 90 minutes while still trying to be a creative player. It's just not going to happen. So in the system that we're playing at the moment, we need energy, because that's the thing. Like Newell and Doyle Hayes are both excellent midfielders when they're doing what they do, but they're not the types that are going to run up and down the field for 90 minutes. So that's what we were missing entirely. When, like, I know Campbell's not going to take over from McGuinness, like that's just not realistic, but that energy that he provides to actually harry other teams and just annoy them, Scott Allan hasn't provided. That's one of the reasons why we struggled so much against Dundee United, because we didn't have that energy in the midfield at any point in the game. So Yeah, no, I think Scott Allan, if he's
massive,
happy to be a bench player, then he should be a bench player, because like when teams are struggling, he's the one that will pick out the pass when other teams are tiring and making mistakes.
Yep.
But yeah, rock with the 3-5-2 moving forward until we actually get a squad together, because it makes sense.
Yeah, well, let's wrap that St Johnstone game up there. Look, a massive one, massive one. Good to get back to winning ways, find my back into the top 6, and hopefully we can kick on. Now, Liam, were you happy last time we played Rangers?
That's fucking silly questions. You move on.
But in all seriousness, Liam, 3-5-2 again during the week. Boyle back in for Gullen. Same again, basically.
I listened to Quick Bang Sunday morning. I was doing the dog walk on Sunday morning, and I think Dave raised the point. I think he felt like Jack Ross needs to do something different against Rangers. I probably disagree, to be honest, because I think 3-5-2 has been the template of how we've played against Rangers and had a bit of success. Said that after the last time we played them, I would stick with that system. I think the squad we've got available will dictate that it'll be similar personnel. I don't think we'll see a huge number of changes, but it needs to be an up and at them performance. I think the only slight dynamic that changes is we're at home, so there will be probably a greater expectation of us to get on the ball and make things happen a little bit more. But if it's not broke, don't fix it, and we can use tweaks during the game to get at them, and we can think about what subtle changes we might want to make. But you know, I didn't catch any of the Rangers Livingston game yesterday because, frankly, I've got better things to do than watch that shite. But I think we've got every opportunity on Wednesday. If we play the game the right level of intensity, I think we've got every opportunity.
I seen the first half, and I actually seen some of the pre-match stuff as well. And they were saying against Sparta Prague, the fullbacks definitely stayed a lot deeper, or at least one went as opposed to two. And the one thing I noticed of Rangers that I would say was different to when Gerrard plays, the wingers stayed wide. The wingers stayed very wide as opposed to being narrow and tight, to the point where Kent, I think at one point there was a ball in the back post where normally you'd think he would already be there, and he was having to fucking sprint to try and get into the back post to get it. And also Glenn Kamara seems to be playing a shed load deeper, almost as a third centre half, but still very much that sort of 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 that they're used to playing, maybe just slightly tweaked. But look, I know they won the game. I didn't think Rangers were great. I don't know, Greg or Harry, if you've seen any of it, but one ball over the top Livy scored from, and anytime you sent the ball in behind Rangers, they looked like they were in trouble. Harry, what are you expecting from Hibs and I guess and from Rangers on Wednesday night?
I think the main reason why we play well against Rangers when we play them, we don't necessarily get stuffed like we do when we lose some other games. I think Rangers' strength in attack is when they play quick through the middle and just try and pass around teams. And Hibs, as much as we like to bash the defence, that's kind of what we're good at. We're good at standing up and not getting ran by. And Rangers' weakness when going forward is crosses into the box, which is obviously our significant weakness. But it's just a good matchup for us defensively that we don't normally have. We proved at Hampden that they're there for the taking. We obviously only created on paper 3 chances, but Rangers' defence is pish. Like, they have absolutely papered over the cracks for the last season and a half just by the fact that their midfield and attack have been so dominant in keeping possession. But when it comes to actually defending, they are absolutely there for the taking. We don't need more than 2 chances to win this game. Like, if we create 2 good chances, we can take 2 good chances and win it. Like, and it looks on paper like it's shithousery, but if a team's that bad at defending, you need to exploit them.
Greg, you expecting much the same as at Hampden a week and a half ago, and do you think Martin Boyle is a dead set to come straight back in?
I don't know if I'm expecting the same, because obviously they've got a new manager. I did actually watch them against Sparta Prague, but Sparta Prague are absolutely toilet this season, so I didn't really take a lot from it. I would silly myself watching that yesterday. 2 shite teams at a shite ground. Not going to bother
Until we have to the ground next week.
Yep, only going because the tickets are still valid, unfortunately. To be honest, I think that we should just play our game. I really don't care about what Rangers have to do. Without quoting Dominic Malonga too much, I really don't care about the Rangers. I mean, I think that's a good point you've made about the fullbacks being deeper, but the fullbacks going up weren't the problem at Hampden. Their defence is a problem. Their defence is all over the place. They've got no organisation, like you say, along below the top. I think it was yesterday. So yeah, I think that if we push them, if we press them, if we are fluid in the final third, I think we'll cause them a lot of problems. I think for that, Boyle will come back in. I'd probably like him to come back in for. I'd even bring him back in for Campbell, to be honest, and just have Gullen, Nisbet, and Boyle on the pitch at the same time. So yeah.
Would any of you want to see? I think you probably need a change of shape if it was both of them, but if it's got Allan or Jamie Murphy, any would expect them to start. I personally wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. I think that they have their place in the team when both fit, and that is, I think that's probably impact substitutions. I think Jack Ross is very much on that line now.
Liam, some starts at some point in the next hectic schedule we've got, but I don't think that the Rangers game's the one to do it.
There'll be other opportunities for both of them, I think. That the likes of that Livingston game you've alluded to, the Tony Macaroni, or maybe even Motherwell at home, albeit Motherwell are a very workmanlike team as well. So but it's difficult. It's difficult to pinpoint games in the schedule because there's probably not a huge number of games where we can really afford to make sweeping changes. And I know injuries and suspensions will ultimately dictate we'll have to make changes, but you don't really want to preempt them.
No bother, that's well. There was a few standouts. I think everyone was good at the weekend, but there was a few standouts. Harry, I know you've highlighted Chris Cadden on your Twitter and stuff, and we spoke about Kevin Nisbet. Liam, if you were to pinpoint one player that you think is essential or a good performance from them is really going to be key to us to winning on Wednesday night, who do you think that player would be?
Ryan Porteous. I think just for what he brings to defence, I think his leadership, his determination, what he can do for us on the ball. I think if he has a good game against the Old Firm, typically we get a result. Yeah.
Same question to yourself, Greg.
I would probably say Jake Doyle-Hayes sort of sitting midfielder. Liam mentioned earlier that when Joe Newell gets ahead of the ball, he is very dangerous. So I think if Jake Doyle-Hayes can sit, it allows Newell to go. And Jake Doyle-Hayes is very combatant. Like he gets stuck in, he tackles everything. That's what we need, a wee bit of aggression, a wee bit of fight in the midfield and win that battle. I think 9 times out of 10, if you win the midfield battle, you win the game.
Harry, I'll just jump in here before you say just transitions quite well. I would go along the same vein. I would say Joe Newell, for the exact reasons that you both mentioned there. Like, if Joe Newell can get ahead of the striker or at least ahead of the ball to good effect, look, we should have scored against Celtic. You know what I mean? And on sort of the one occasion that he got ahead of the ball, we looked decent and had a chance. Played well at the weekend doing it, scored against Dundee United doing it. I think if we can, and let's not get away from Joe Newell's main strengths, he's a good passer of the ball. You know what I mean? Like him and Jake Doyle-Hayes can control a game of football, and hopefully they can do that. And I think if we, like you say, Greg, if we can win the midfield, and Joe Newell probably being the more advanced of that two that you would expect to probably play in Josh Campbell in all likelihood, I think Joe Newell could be a big player for us, and I think he historically tends to play quite well against Rangers, out with his first appearance against Rangers in his first start as a Hibs player. Harry,
that left back.
Left mid he was, Sean Mackey. And
I think we've arrived at the issue.
Wrap us up on the player that you think could well be the standout for us.
I think that a massive mismatch for any team is a marauding centre back, because it's not something that you train to play against. So I genuinely think when Paul Hanlon's on top form, which he was very good against Rangers the other week, I think if he plays like he can when he's at his best, I think that we'll have a very positive defensive performance. Because see, that's the reason I love Defi Ambrose so much. He would just pick the ball up and he'd run, and nobody would know what to do, because you can't leave your assignment to go and tackle him. So if Paul Hanlon starts carrying the ball at defence, they're just going to look clueless. And that's the reason why Ryan Porteous done so well at the weekend as well. Because as soon as centre backs start carrying the ball, panic stations for the other team.
It was something, especially in the first half, that was driving me insane at the weekend. We were playing some nice stuff, but we weren't really running into the ball. You know what I mean? We were waiting on it coming to us, and it does make a massive difference, I think, that impetus. Anyway, right, let's wrap up the Rangers game. Liam, score prediction and goal scorer, please.
3-1 to Hibernian FC. Repeat of the semi-final result. I'm going to go my usual Ryan Porteous, Martin Boyle, and Kevin Nisbet.
Harry.
I reckon, just to spite us for saying it hadn't happened yet, I reckon it's just going to hit for like the next 6 games. 2-1 Hibs.
Goal scorers, please.
Martin Boyle's going to score, and it's going to be an own goal from Goldson because he'll realise that they're behind and he'll just need to concede another goal because he knows they're already beat anyway. So Connor Goldson will score for the Hibees.
Greg?
I'll go 2-0 Hibs.
That's mine.
So as long as there's no crosses in the box, we'll be all right. I think Jake Doyle Hayes and Porteous, purely because that's what I want to happen, not because I think it'll happen, but I want to happen.
I am going for 2-0 Hibs as well. The reason I'm sticking with that is Liam mentioned earlier, I was on quick bang and I said it'd be 2-0, so might as well stick to my guns. And I am going.
Just before we move on, I just think it's hilarious how after the county game we all predicted. Well, apart from you, we all predicted defeat St Johnstone. We won one game. No, we won one game and then we're like, we're beating the team that's top of the league. No bother at all.
Welcome to Down the Slope, the official recency bias podcast of Hibernian FC.
Wait, we've not predicted wins against Rangers, then defeats against Ross County, defeats against St Johnstone. Now we're predicting wins against Rangers.
We are go with the flow FC.
We are flip flop the slope.
I'm going.
Harry, your specs are squinting. They really put me off in it. Not gonna lie.
I'm going for 2-0 Hibs, and it's going to be a Kevin Nisbet double. I think
Kevin Nisbet has a couple of good games, and there he is. He's back.
Here we go. I am back on the Kevin Nisbet train. Liam, best part of the week. It's Guess Who time.
Oh, it's Guess Who time. We've got to the end of the episode, and if you're still with us for the last 5, what's probably going to be 10 minutes, because these losers probably won't manage to get all the right answers in time.
Take that back.
I got one out last week after like 2 fucking clues.
I'm only joking, lads.
Specky and Robbie Williams can't get any right. I'm the winner every
week. Welcome. It's not as fun as Harry's IB quiz, but here we have Liam's Guess Who, very serious Hibernian FC quiz. If you've not listened already, then frankly, what have you been doing with your life for the last few weeks? But essentially, I give 5 clues about 5 Hibs players. Each time I've gone through the clues, the players, if you want to call them players, I use players in a very loose sense. We'll guess. We'll guess which Hibs player it is. They only get one guess. If they guess wrong, they're out. Okay. Starting off with our very first Hibernian FC player. I started my career at Norwich City.
Okay,
that's the first clue.
Why is Greg looking like he kens already? He's like, oh, I've got an idea. No, you didn't.
After joining Hibernian FC, I went on several loans to the Scottish lower leagues. Despite being a centre forward, I failed to score during my 4 years with the club. Should say failed to score a senior goal.
Right, okay.
I finished my career. Sorry, no, I'm not. That's not correct. I am currently still. I'm currently still playing for Athlone Town.
Athlone Town, of course.
In Ireland.
In Ireland, correct, Greg. Yep. Okay. I was a member of the Hibernian under-19 side that won the league and cup double in 2008-2009. That's the final clue.
Can he be?
It's no Curtisburn, is it?
Are you saying Curtisburn?
I'm saying Curtisburn.
Correct. Curtisburn.
Really?
I never really started at Norwich.
Started his youth career at Norwich City.
Oh, well.
Wow. I thought he was a Hibs youth career. I thought he was at Hibs throughout his youth career.
No, but his dad's a fucking mouthpiece anyway.
Well, Curtisburn went down in my estimations when he went to Linfield.
But he should be playing every week for the Old Firm.
Right enough.
Right, you ready for the next one? Second player.
Yep.
Yeah. I started my career with Cowdenbeath.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am a central defender standing 6 feet tall.
Adam McGregor.
Correct. Well done.
Yeah.
After 2 guesses,
Yeah.
Darren McGregor.
Ewan's on
Yeah,
10
easy
points.
ones, eh?
Eh.
Ewan's off to a very strong start.
To
Okay.
be honest, it was about time he won something. He's been shy for a week.
Okay. Next player. I've played in several different countries, including Scotland, England, United States of America, Holland, Sweden, Switzerland, and Germany.
Wow.
Christ.
I have made 29 appearances for my national side, scoring 1 goal. I am a defensive midfielder. I started my youth career at Fjolnir, Fjolnir, and I'm not telling you what country Fjolnir play their football in.
Sounds like Scandinavia to me.
Surely.
So although I'm a defensive midfielder, I was occasionally played at right back
Victor
during my
Palsson.
time at Hibs.
Bastard.
Correct, Harry. Well done. Victor Palsson.
I thought that was an Icelandic TV, so as soon as you said right back, I was like,
Fucking
oh, that's right.
through the
That's
screen
right.
there.
So Greg, despite his initial bravado, is yet to get off the mark, which is
That's okay.
interesting.
To be honest, it's about time the others got some airtime. They've been terrible.
By the way,
They've been missing in action for weeks.
you never won last week. Did you?
I think I did, and I won the week before as well.
Right. 4th player. I represented my national team at under 16, under 17, and under 18 level, amassing 6 appearances.
For the youth teams, or for Hibs.
No, for those national teams.
Okay, cool.
I played in a number of different countries: England, Belgium, Denmark, Canada, and obviously Scotland.
Canada, fuck.
I am a left back.
Ulrich Larsson.
Oh, he's had a stinker.
Oof.
Surely he got capped at full level, Greg. Come on now.
No, I didn't. I don't think he did.
I finished my career at Airdrie in 2020, making 8 appearances.
Did you say he was a left back?
Mm-hmm.
I know who it is. Come on.
I joined Hibs
Come
after
on.
a spell at our city rivals.
No.
Mikey Stewart. I don't know.
He's not a left back, is he?
Oh no,
Striking?
he's not left back. Oh no, that was a. Oh fuck!
No,
no,
It's not him. It's no.
Oh god.
Go, let me just dive in here.
Is there another clue?
No, that's it. That's 5 clues.
So what was it? Left back.
Left back, played in all those countries I listed. Played for England, played for under 16, under 17, under 18, 6 appearances.
Left back. Airdrie.
Played for our city rivals. Finished career with Airdrie, making 8
If you're gonna
appearances.
get this, you'll kick
2020.
yourself. Like
What about you? Oh, have you guessed?
I guess I said Mikey Stewart, but I had city
left-
rivals.
Left
But,
back.
oh.
Airdrie left back.
If he doesn't get this, can he get deducted 5 points, please?
No, if I didn't get it, then do they not get to come back in?
Right, that's it. Time's elapsed.
Wait, I didn't.
No, you don't get that much time to think. The listeners are tuned off by all your air and on. It's Adam Eckersley.
He was at fucking Airdrie.
Finished his career at Airdrie, made 8 appearances. Right,
I
final
would have got there. I would have said and never have got there. I forgot. We said,
final
wow.
player. Okay, you ready for this one? This is a tough one. I've made 49 appearances for my national team, having debuted for them in 2015.
Wow.
I've played in Scotland, the Netherlands, Italy, and Greece.
Slavka.
Correct.
Hang your head in shame, Mr. Lumsden.
Should have said he was shite and would only turn up once every
Should it-
40 games.
Should have said broke Greg's heart on countless occasions as Greg was adamant he was a fucking player and just let him down time after time. Well, get up, yous boys. I just fucking smoked yous there.
I mean, you didn't get Adam Eckersley, so you technically.
Yeah, did you, you dick?
I know, I got it after I said the wrong name.
After you googled it.
I didn't use Google, you fucking fraudulent prick. Oh, he's cheating. He's loving that.
I'm going to start asking to see hands from now on.
Right, well, it's Monday night. Hibs are playing on Wednesday. We'll probably be back on Thursday night, hopefully recording on the back of another win as we look to make 2 wins on the spin and on the first win at Easter Road in what seems like a long, long time. So hopefully we get it right up that lot on Wednesday night. Thank you for listening once again. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.